Thank you so much for being here.
Happy to be here.
My name is Ann Havard. I'm in the mayor's office. I know we've given you information about today's presentation in advance, so we'll be ready to dive right in and hear your presentation, and then if there's time left, we'll ask questions.
All right. Well, I'm here today for 413 Strong. We are a program for young men. We serve men between the ages of 18 and 30. We are a residential program, so that's one of the things that makes us unique. Our whole goal is to try to take men that have grown up in Nashville and perhaps haven't had some of the best opportunities in their life, give them those opportunities. So we're all about trying to get men on a productive path towards employment and towards becoming contributing members of society. So the way that we work is, in order to become part of our program, the only restriction we have is age and gender, right? So we're a men's only program. To get in, you have to try out. So we have a tryout process to make sure that we're talking to men that are really serious about making a change. Once they're accepted into our program, they move in with us, and our program is kind of broken into two phases. The first phase is about 6 weeks long. We call it the 40-day challenge. This is classroom work. They spend the entire 6 weeks with us in the classroom. We go through kind of 5 areas of study with them. We go through kind of spiritual development or faith foundation, kind of help them find their faith. We go through financial literacy. So we use curriculum donated to us by Dave Ramsey, take them through some financial literacy to make sure that they understand how to manage their money before they ever get their first paycheck. We go through a program called Work Life, which is a program that teaches these men how to be an employee. So a lot of the men that come to us haven't really had a real full-time job. They've had temporary jobs, or they've had fast food jobs, or they've had kind of transactional jobs that they have no problem throwing away when they feel like they don't need it anymore. And the jobs we're getting ready to put them into are full-time jobs. They're going to have bosses and expectations, so we try to get them ready for that. And then the final component is construction skills. We're going to be moving all of these men into the construction industry. And so we spend a lot of time going through construction skills training, getting them prepared for that job that's coming their way. At the end of the 40 days, they will have earned 3 construction industry certifications. These are nationally recognized certifications. One is an OSHA 10 safety certification. The other is a NCCER core certification, which is basically like an intro to construction or construction 101. And then third is an aerial lift. So, you know, all those little platform lifts that go up and down and they drive back and forth, they learn how to use those. Every man that completes the 40-day challenge is now eligible for employment. And over the 4 years that we've been operating, 100% of our men that have completed the 40-day challenge have moved into full-time jobs. Once these guys get jobs, they move into the second phase of the program. They will continue to live with us. Once they start working, we drive them to and from work every day. They continue to live on the campus. In the evening, we do kind of after-work programming with them. So we will continue to go through curriculum related to kind of being a responsible man, being an accountable man. We'll continue to go through the financial literacy curriculum. Now that they're making money, we'll make sure that they're using it in the right ways and not getting themselves into trouble, and really just try to keep them focused on keeping that job. So that is the program and the way that we are providing for the men of Davidson County. The way we operate is we have 4 classes per year. So we don't have rolling admissions, but we have defined start dates. We have 4 classes per year. Each class can house up to 15 men. So we can serve 60 men in a year. Once those men move in and they start working with us, they're working towards completing the program. To complete the program, we have some pretty strict requirements. We expect our men to have 4 months of continuous employment. So once they start working, they need to keep that job. Not all the guys that start working love their jobs, but we're encouraging them to keep those jobs to prove that they can work, that they can stick with it, and we can help them find new employment after about 6 months if they're looking to make a change. But you have to have 4 months of continuous employment. Our men are paying off their court fees and court fines, and they're dealing with their child support issues. So when a man comes to us and he has lost his driver's license or is dealing with issues associated with being behind on child support, we're helping him get all that stuff figured out and taken care of. We require our men to get a driver's license. So if they've lost it, they need to get it reinstated. If they've never had one, they're going to figure out how to drive and they're going to get a driver's license. The next step is they need to purchase a cash car. We don't want these guys going out and taking on debt to purchase a vehicle. We'll help them find a car that they can purchase for cash. And once they purchase that car, they have to insure it because we want these guys to be completely legal. By the time they get to the end of the program, we won't be driving them to and from work anymore, so we want them to have their own reliable transportation and not get themselves in trouble driving a car that they shouldn't be driving. And then the final thing that they need to accomplish before they graduate is they need to save up $1,500 in their emergency fund. And so really what we're doing is trying to make sure that they are completely stable and have a good foundation so that as they move out of our protective umbrella and back into the community, they have all the tools, the resources, and the knowledge they need to continue to be productive. Those jobs, once they get them, are their jobs. We're not a temp agency, so we're not in the middle of this. These are their paychecks. This program doesn't cost them anything to go through. We continue to help them to make sure that they're saving, doing what they need to do to get on their feet. Today we are looking for funding. We're looking for $27,000 to help us. And the way that we would primarily use that is once these guys start working, we have a great success rate in moving these guys into employment. The area where, as a program, that we believe that we need to improve is helping these men stay employed. Once they start working, sometimes they start getting overconfident. They start making decisions like, we're good, we don't need the program anymore. They may decide to leave the campus and live at home, and that's where things start to unravel. And so we're looking for some funding that will help us provide additional training for them, additional evening education classes. So when they get home from work, we're keeping them focused and moving in that direction towards completing the program and having all those foundational pieces in place. So that's the way that we'd use this. One of the questions was, how do the residents of Nashville benefit from this? We think that we have a pretty good story to tell in terms of helping men that have grown up in Nashville's public housing and are spending time perhaps on the streets or in the criminal justice system, getting their life turned around. We actually have a very good track record of helping guys coming out of the criminal justice system that have felonies and perhaps feel like they don't have very good opportunities, helping them secure good, meaningful opportunities. Going through our program, a lot of these men are finding their faith foundation. We are a faith-based organization, but we don't push our faith on anybody. We just encourage these men to make sure that they've got a strong faith foundation. We're reconnecting and reuniting them with their families. So these men are completing the program and wanting to be present in their children's lives and reunite with their families, which is, from a community perspective, has a great impact as these men are now working to try to be present in their children's lives as they move forward. So we think that our benefit model is great, not just for the men that we serve, but for the community as large, as we're taking these men that, for the most part, the city has kind of written off or has allowed to fall into a path that is going to be non-productive or even counterproductive, and making them good, strong, contributing members to society. Do I have any time left?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great.
I have the first question.
Sure.
And it'll probably be an easy one. You said 40% are coming out of the criminal justice system.
Roughly, right.
Where's the other 60 coming from?
They're volunteer. They're guys on the street. So we say 40%. Those are like direct referrals from attorneys or judges. We have other guys that may have gotten themselves in trouble with criminal justice, but they've just kind of decided, I need help changing. And so they're completely voluntary on their own. And we have guys.
How do they find you? How do they know?
So we go to 5 different areas to do our recruiting. Criminal justice, of course, is one. We're building relationships with some of the inner city schools. So guys that either don't graduate or graduate and aren't going to college, we're trying to get our hands on them. We're out in the community centers. If you see a guy out there 1 o'clock in the afternoon shooting basketball or something, chances are he needs us. We're building relationships with some of the churches in these communities. And then the last one is referrals. Guys that have completed the program are talking to their friends saying, hey, I changed, you can change. And so that's how they're coming to us.
What does the 413 stand for?
It's based on Philippians 4:13, the Bible verse. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
How long has your organization been functioning?
4 years. We are in our 5th year right now.
What's your annual operating budget?
About $480,000.
And what are your sources there?
It's primarily private donations and then foundations that we go after, some grants from private foundations. But the majority of our funding comes from individual donors, either making direct donations or through our fundraising events.
So do you have any data as far as parts of the community that are served, maybe through zip codes or something like that? Do you know where most of these people are coming from?
We haven't done a zip code study. The majority of our guys are coming from some of the Nashville housing areas, but that's actually a good question.
Yeah, okay.
Who are some of your biggest partners as far as operating your program?
From an employment perspective or from a,
Anything?
okay, so we have a nice long list of job partners. These are the companies that are hiring our guys when they're eligible for employment. These job partners are the names that you see driving around town. These are the big companies that offer kind of real jobs. These are W-2 jobs with benefits and training and retirement, opportunities. So when these guys get hired on, they've got a real career opportunity in front of them. So those job partners are very valuable to us. In terms of community partners that are helping us do some of this work, we're partnering with Centerstone. They're helping us from a case management perspective with some of the men coming through our program, helping some of those guys navigate getting birth certificates and social security cards and driver's license. We work with a couple different organizations that help with substance abuse. So if a man has substance abuse issues, that's beyond what we can do. So we make referrals to a couple of the different area organizations to help with that, and then invite the guys to come back to us once that is under control. So those are some of our partnerships.
Is there a specific church you originate from?
No.
Or denomination?
Nope. No, we are kind of non-denominational. We have several churches that are very active in supporting us, but we're not tied to a church.
Are they different denominations?
Yeah, we have Baptist Church, Methodist Church, have Presbyterian Church, so have all kinds.
What is your long-term goal with your program?
Our long-term goal.
Put yourself out of business?
Well, yeah. Here's long-term. Here's what we'd really like to do. We think we're doing a pretty good job of helping men get their life on track. The way Nashville is right now, though, it's tough for them to move back into the community because things are getting expensive. And for a lot of these guys, moving back into the community means going back to the neighborhoods that they came from, where they already have an established identity that perhaps isn't the identity they want to have anymore, and they start to backslide a little bit. Our long-term goal would be to create a community where once we have worked with these men and got them kind of moving in the right direction, that we have facilities available where they can move their kids, their family into our community, and then we can start helping the entire family unit grow together and get them out of the communities they're coming from and somewhere else. That's our longer term goal. Once we fix the man, start reaching out and help him bring his family up to his level.
Where is your campus and how did you acquire it?
Yeah, we are on TPS, right next to Nashville School of the Arts, off of Foster Avenue. We rent our buildings from the state. We were able to negotiate that agreement based on a prior lease agreement that the YMCA had there. The YMCA was running a similar program. In 2014, they shut that program down. We kind of picked up where they left off, forming 413 Strong, and we were able to assume that lease and then take on that lease on our own since then.
And how big is your staff?
We have 4 full-time staff members, and then a handful of part-time people that help us drive the guys all around the city.
Okay. I'm good.
All right.
Good too.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very
Yeah,
much.
thank you. Can I leave any time?
No.
Got about
30
45 seconds
seconds.
back. Rest my brain for a minute.
Yeah.
Thank you very